Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Saturday night, and some massive news for the Miami Hurricane fans through the transfer portal as former Vanderbilt defensive back Savon Riley commits to the Miami Hurricanes. And this is a guy that I'm a really big fan of and kind of buzzed through the numbers earlier today looking at Savon Riley. A few things that kind of stand out. One, kind of the ideal frame as a safety there. 6'2", 200 pounds, has really good length, phenomenal athleticism in the back end. And then you look at the versatility that he brings to this Miami Hurricanes defense, looking at the snap count from his redshirt freshman year at Vanderbilt, 48 snaps in the box, 74 as a slot nickelback, and then 215 as a free safety. So in an era of college football, and we talk about this so much, where versatility and different groupings of personnel is so important, having a guy like Savon Riley who can do multiple things in that back end of the defense is really important. And at the end of the day, like, a defense in this modern day of college football is trying to give a lot of different looks. It's trying to confuse opposing quarterbacks and opposing offenses. Having a guy that's kind of the jack of all trades back there that you can put him in the box, you can put him as a center field safety, makes a lot of sense. Going to get into Savon Riley, talk about a few other guys that Miami is targeting in the transfer portal. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys, and a special shout out to the Miami Hurricane fans. We jumped on last night, talked about CJ Clark coming in, a massive fan of the nose tackle from NC State. But the Hurricane fans, you guys continue to show a ton of love to the boys. It's been a blast covering this team and all the roster moves that are happening in the transfer portal. If y'all do enjoy the content, you enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel and getting into Savon Riley. And first, starting with the overall approach from Mario Cristobal and this Hurricane staff in the transfer portal, I'm a massive fan of it. They have taken a look at this depth chart, at this roster, and kind of targeted spots and position groups that they want to address in the transfer portal. Now, Mario Cristobal is building this roster through the high school ranks, and obviously they are picking up some major steam to close out this 2024 cycle. Most of the talent in the bulk of this roster are going to come from the high school ranks, and Mario Cristobal is using that transfer portal just to kind of supplement some, I don't even know if I call them holes in the roster, but parts of the roster that you want to add some depth, you want to add some talent, you want to add some experience, right? You look back at CJ Clark, what was the Miami Hurricanes kind of missing up front? It's a very talented defensive line. They were kind of missing that true nose tackle on the inside that can do the dirty work. They go out and get a 6-year senior to make that happen. And then you look at a guy like Savon Riley, obviously losing guys like Williams and Kitchens in the back end. That safety room needed some depth and talent and experience to come in. And you're getting a guy in Savon Riley that's played over 350 snaps at the SEC level. You are very comfortable with the experience you are getting with Savon Riley. But what intrigues me the most about a guy like Savon Riley is the upside is so high for a kid like him. There's a reason Georgia and LSU were making pushes to get Savon Riley to come to those schools, because this is a guy that has a ton of upside and can be a really, really good defensive back if the Miami Hurricanes can develop in the right way. So you look at where they're targeting in the transfer portal, it's at positions of need. And you're really happy to see Mario Cristobal getting most of the talent. This is the recipe, right? The Georgia Bulldogs, the Alabama Crimson Tide, the Michigan Wolverines, how do they build these rosters? They get it from the high school ranks, and then they just supplement a few positions in the transfer portal. And that's exactly what the Miami Hurricanes are doing. They grab their nose tackle. They grab a guy in the back end in that safety room that can bolster up that depth and competition in that room. Another guy I want to talk about at that safety position, because when you look at it, they really could use even more experience. Because at the end of the day, a guy like Savon Riley, only one true year of playing football at that SEC level. And although I really do like his game and the versatility and the frame that he brings, you might want to bring in another guy that's played a ton of football. And a guy like Jalen Catalon would make a ton of sense. Now, some of y'all, if you guys are NFL draft fans, have seen Jalen Catalon's name in mock drafts of the NFL. I mean, this is a guy that's played a ton of football, going back to his time at Arkansas, then transferring to Texas. He hits the portal again as one of the more experienced safeties available in the transfer portal. And although he's struggled with injuries, you take a look at what Miami is trying to do in that back end. They're trying to get some experience in that back end. Jalen Catalon would make a lot of sense for the Miami Hurricanes to kick the tires on a little bit. And then the last guy I want to talk about quickly, we talked about him a little last night, Zach Carpenter. Obviously, it seems like trending in the right direction. And again, what Mario Cristobal is doing is looking at this depth chart and saying, hey, what are the pieces that we need to get in place in order for us to be kind of at our full potential heading into 2024 year? And with your veteran center, Matt Lee, going to the NFL draft, getting a veteran center in there is kind of imperative. And a guy like Zach Carpenter, a 2-year starter at Indiana in the Big Ten level, again, would make a ton of sense for this Miami Hurricanes team. And the last comment I want to make is at the quarterback spot. And my take on the quarterback spot is I don't care if it's Cam Ward. I don't care if it's Will Howard. Got to get one of them there. And I don't know if you're waiting on the quarterbacks to kind of make the decision, whether you're waiting on Miami to kind of choose one. At the end of the day, this Miami Hurricanes team, and we've talked about it so much, it is set. A very good offensive line, loaded running back room, a ton of skill at the wide receiver room. You look at that defense is going to be one of the best units in the ACC next year. It's missing that veteran quarterback, and that is not me knocking a guy like Ja'Cory Brown or Emory Williams. It's me saying that this program can, and especially when you look at it being a 12-team playoff next year, is a team in a program that's ready to win and kind of make the college football playoffs, compete for an ACC championship. You need that marquee quarterback, that veteran quarterback that's won a lot of football games to be in there. So whether it's Cam Ward, whether it's Will Howard, the Miami Hurricanes, you're looking at this roster, it's ready to win. They got to turn it up for a guy like Will Howard, Cam Ward. Really excited to see more news that we get for the Miami Hurricanes. Obviously, Jordan Lyle, Armando Blunt in that 2024 class. Miami's picking up some steam for. We'll see how it plays out. I think Miami Hurricane fans got a lot to be excited about in terms of what they've already done in the transfer portal, what's going on in the high school recruiting class. The last piece that we're missing is that quarterback position. We'll see if Miami can get it done. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Had to hop on, talk a little Savon Riley, a cat that I'm really excited to see what the progression looks like for him coming to the Miami Hurricanes. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all